Greetings, Attorney Derek DeBrosse coming to you from Munitions Group, munitionsgroup.com, Columbus, Ohio. We have offices in Atlanta, Georgia, as well as Louisville, Kentucky. As you'll see on the screen, we actually do a lot of different things other than just maybe criminal defense, as you may be thinking, or FFL work. Anything regarding firearms or the firearms industry we handle, from importing firearms from a foreign country to exporting those firearms to self-defense. Whatever it is, if it involves a firearm, we can handle it for you, so be sure to reach out to us with any questions you have. And as always, keep dropping the questions in the viewer comment box, shooting us an email, give us a call, give us a smoke signal, whatever it might be. Without your questions, we can't keep this channel going. And I want to continue to do that and continue to make it better. You'll notice some changes to the video today. We're trying a different format. We hope you all like it, so please provide your feedback on that as well. Today's video actually comes from Daniel. As you guys know, I don't use last names, but Daniel writes about liability and performing your own gunsmithing. His question reads, in your videos, I can't seem to find any, do you cover liability for doing your own gunsmithing if you're not a gunsmith? Or do you know of any cases where that was an issue? Thank you, love the videos. That question, Daniel, is extremely broad, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess how you look at it. Liability covers a lot of different spectrums. If you're talking about doing your own gunsmithing and having a friend use the firearm, sure, there could be some liability there. Especially if there's not any type of assumption of risk signed by your friend. If you're just doing your own gunsmithing and taking the gun to your private range, obviously the liability is substantially reduced because the potential for your gunsmithing to cause harm to somebody else or somebody else's property is reduced. When we talk about liability, we're talking about damages. It's an essential element of any what we call tort, which is a French word, fancy French word to make attorneys sound smart. It essentially means a civil wrong. So when you talk about liability, we generally talk about civil liability in that context. So if you're working on your own firearms and you only hurt yourself, well, you're obviously not going to sue yourself. But if you do something to your firearm and give it to somebody else, or lend it to somebody else, or sell it, then yes, there could be some liability there depending on what you did to the firearm. So not only depends on the context of what you do with the firearm, but it depends on what you actually gunsmith. Did you gunsmith the trigger, the barrel, the optics, whatever it might be? All of these different factors really do apply. So there's always liability for everything in this country. We're a sue-happy country, as a lot of people say. So keep that in mind. If you're going to be doing your own gunsmithing, there's nothing illegal about it as long as you're not doing it for business purposes. There is some issue in the recent past, some discussion about whether or not it need to be registered with what we call ITAR. It's an International Treaty on Arms Regulations, and we need to ensure that if you are doing gunsmithing for business purposes, as the law currently stands, more likely than not, you'd have to register with that. Now, it's a very expensive process, $2,500 a year. What you should know is that the Trump administration has recently pushed forward regulations that are supposed to take effect this March that would take gunsmiths essentially off of that requirement of registration for the most part. Now, if you're a gunsmith and you want to do that for business purposes, we always encourage you to reach out to competent counsel to make sure that you get the most up-to-date, time-sensitive regulations that may affect your industry. Now, with that said, to just finalize your question, Daniel, so again, there could be liability, it depends on what you do with it. And if you do the wrong thing with that firearm, you could even extend into criminal liability if you do some gunsmithing on your gun and maybe make a fully automatic machine gun, for instance. That's not only potential civil liability, but more importantly, criminal. So Daniel, if you have any follow-ups, please drop them in the comment box. But as always, we do appreciate your feedback. And as always, be safe out there and carry on.